course. I'll try it again. Sometimes it takes a while. There we go. So who am I? I'll be very quick. I'm going to talk fast in this presentation because I only have 10 minutes. So you can understand me. I will talk slower later if you need to. So I'm married, 73-year-old Latina Yaki, a vegetarian environmentalist, arts advocate, landscape architect, urban designer, and I own my own planning company, Estrada Land Planning. Parent, grandparent, musician, post-op transsexual, born in Nogales, Arizona, 10 feet from the border, and hopefully I will retire in 2.5 years. You can see pictures in the bottom. I write my own music. I improvise a lot. And on the right, I'm also in a rock and roll cover band, Grateful Dead cover band called Not All Dead.
Are you going to
Vicki,
demonstrate?
sorry to stop you. Just a reminder, we have the interpreters in the meeting space that need you to speak a little
I will
slowly.
need slightly more than 10 minutes.
It's okay.
Thank you.
That's okay. You have it.
Well, they can't do that fast. Okay. So this is me in high school. I ran track. I'm not going to go over all the detail. My grandfather in the lower left, and what ended up happening is I went to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, in landscape architecture. Graduated in 1975. Briefly, let me define what landscape architecture is. It's the study and practice of designing environments, outdoors and indoors, of varying scale that encompass elements of art, environment, architecture, engineering, and sociology. That's why I chose landscape architecture. It's a little bit of everything, So my clicker's not clicking. On the left side, it's my Al Pacino look. And I looked a little different back then. So I'll go quick through some of these. Let me go back a little bit. I went too far. That's me with my kids. Well, I'm going to skip some of the slides. It's acting weird. I had two kids, one of each. But briefly, I struggled with whether I'd discuss this or not. And in light of what's happening kind of on the national level in terms of gender and so forth, I thought it was important for me to quickly share this. This is what I saw. And just imagine yourself looking in the mirror and seeing that, or vice versa, the other way around. So I first started feeling like this when I was 10 years old. And contrary to what the current national administration says, he signed an executive order. Gender is not binary, okay? It is, in fact, a spectrum. And there's all sorts of, my wife is intersex. Well, where does she qualify? She's just been erased. I don't want to comment any more negatively than that at this point. So what I did in 2005, this was really scary for me. I wrote an email to KPBS, a local public radio station, because I had been on before talking about design and so forth. And I wrote a letter that said, Tom, I think I want to become a woman. I don't think you talked about this before on the air. And it took me 10 minutes to press send. But I did. And he actually emailed right back and said, actually called me right back, July 5th, you're on the air. So I came out actually to everybody publicly on the radio, which was pretty hard. So at 53, I decided to transition. But rather than be embarrassed, I gave myself a rebirthday party. So, and it was great. So very quickly, this is me from little to now. I will say I had to have facial feminization surgery in 2007. I found myself being laughed at going down the street, and that's really hard. And, people would come toward me with their babies and pick them up and go to the other side like the street, like it's some bad, evil thing. So it's too bad that has to happen. But I wasn't strong enough to say, too bad, that's who I am. So I did have facial feminization surgery, which actually did make a difference. The intent was to make me look more like, my sister, not a total redo. My daughter, I got to walk her down the aisle when she got married. This is my son. And actually an IB, Leah, just a few blocks from your house, old house. And that's my 4 grandkids. On the left, He's half Dominican, and then the two young ones, and on the right, he's actually 16 years old now. So not going into a lot of, that's my father. I miss him, and the Chargers left town. That was bad too. So I met my wife in 2005 at a voice teacher. She was coming out, I was going in, and that's what we looked like in 2005. We got married. In 2008 when the first legal window happened. That was a hard day because my mom was totally against it. She didn't even come to the wedding, neither did my three sisters. They didn't talk to me for a year. So it's not necessarily an easy journey, right? So why would I choose this? So enough of that for now. Just very briefly, a little bit about who I am. I do dabble a little bit in some drawings. Here's some of my abstract art. I do prefer some abstract art. And as you saw earlier, I do write my own music and so forth. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the projects. This is a community meeting I had. I've started a couple of community meetings actually with a song that I wrote lyrics for. And this is like the Choyers Creek Blues in San Diego. So everybody sang along with it. And it's a good way to start a meeting. As opposed to the same old stuff. So I just thought that was interesting. This is me, actually. I opposed the zoo. I did the Balboa Park Master Plan, and I spoke against the zoo at Planning Commission, and they ended up denying the whole project, and they ended up hiring me, which is, okay, I spoke against them, but they hired me. So it took 5 years, but I got to actually redo that Balboa Park plan. Some of the other projects, this is Renaissance La Jolla in San Diego. We did the plan, and on the right, that's an aerial photo of it built in. So I'm pretty proud of that project because it was an Italian Renaissance theme. And we also did the landscape architecture as well as the land planning and laid out all the streets and so forth. So I designed a new city in Saudi Arabia for the Saudi National Guard. I'm not sure I'd want to go there now. I know, but the purpose of the Saudi National Guard is to protect the royal family, period. They fully thought they were going to fight the Saudi army in a coup attempt sometime in the future. Okay, so that was an interesting client, but I could spend hours talking about the rules and things I couldn't do. Some of the land planning projects that I've worked on, 45 years now, I've had my office. That's hard to believe. So this was in Fresno, and on the right is by in San Diego and Mission Valley. I've done some pretty high density plans, as well as Rancho San Diego, a little bit more rural, a little bit. And I also did, come on, go forward. Those are some design guidelines that for Rancho San Diego. And this was really what I'm probably most proud of, is the master plan. Let me go back again. The master plan. This is master plan for Balboa Park. It took 9 years, 1980 to 1989 to prepare. Most projects don't take that long. But within Balboa Park, we were lucky enough to continue, and I'm still involved in Balboa Park designing, redesigning Alcazar Garden. We did the structure on the left. We designed the fountain in the middle of the plaza. And then that zoo project I mentioned, that was a newspaper article. Here's what it looks like now. It didn't look much different 10 years ago, but the Prado is not connected to the zoo. So I basically designed a whole new Prado that connected toward the zoo entrance. So that will be interesting. They just need, $400 million to make it happen. And I, in Balboa Park, again, as I said, I continue to be involved. Some of those sketches I showed you earlier, it actually became a project. We had 5 artists come to my house, and we were trying to do, everybody's donating their time to make this drought-tolerant garden, and what can the artists do? And we were going through slides, and I accidentally showed this doodle on the left, and it became the basic form of the plan, which was nice. So let me talk a little bit about some of the work with artists, because I will admit artists changed my life. I used to think that landscape architects, we thought outside the box. The engineers were linear architects, but we thought bigger. But then working with the artists, they don't have a box. And and that really opened me up. So I started to not on major projects, not start a project without having an artist involved. A lot of clients didn't get that. This is in the city of San Diego. Rob Field, the skateboard park. Barbara Grigutis from Tucson actually was the artist. She designed the fence around the facility and helped me with the basic form of the park. So she also worked with me on College Grove Drive, on this eye, so to speak. Unfortunately, the city did not maintain it very well. San Diego State Trolley Station, with artists and Mudge, we designed the plaza and some of the other common areas as well. You might say, well, there's no trees, Vicki. Well, sometimes trees really aren't important. Sometimes they are. So showing you a little bit of that, a couple of more artist projects. Well, this is actually me. I designed the Barrio Logan sign in Barrio Logan, the community sign. I did have a community artist help me with the top, a little corn thing that the Mayans used to use. And I said, you know what, that makes sense. So he took his sketch and put it on top of the Barrio Logan sign. So again, working with an artist that I didn't even know. And this one was a little mini park in North Park or City Heights. And you can see here's an area, street view. Artists did some fence panels on this one as well. So one artist, and basically, you know where this is, Leah. This is an end of Palm Avenue in IB, and we work with an artist who unfortunately actually committed suicide a little bit later, but he helped us design, or he designed the gates. Come on, go forward. Make it go forward over there. There we go. And then go one more forward. That's looking toward the east, away from the water, and that's the fence that he designed. So again, working with artists does tend to make a big difference. Only a couple more slides. Just press, there we go. A couple more parks. This is a park that was a miracle league for disabled kids. It was great. There was a lot of fulfillment in working on that. Another little small park, which was called Whiteman Street Park. You can see it very cramped, a lot of stuff. It flooded, and there used to be apartments here, but the city knocked them down because they got sued all the time for flooding. So we designed a little park that it was okay to flood. You know, it's okay to do that. Green infrastructure is important to me as well. And there's a panorama shot of the park looking down at it from the top. Almost done. Parks at Bay Link and Balboa Park, going down south toward the bay. We designed the area here, the entire streetscape. National City did studies. Highland Avenue, what it looks like now, what it might look like later. The mayor wanted to do, because all these Mexican fast food restaurants, you wanted something that was very walkable. So we designed that for them. Keep it going, come on. All right, and finally, the last two projects, which is currently under construction now, let me go back again, I'm sorry, is Normal Street Promenade in Hillcrest in San Diego, right in front of the DMV. So a couple of streetscape shops did some simulations showing what that might look like. And it's going to be the Pride Plaza with a Pride flag as well. Had fun on a couple of projects. Somebody wanted to do a Dr. Seuss park, so I did some of these sketches with Dr. Seuss characters. One thing that's important, then I'll be done. My mouth is dry, hold on. To give back. You know, I've done tours before. This was at a conference in San Diego, and this is on the right, a press conference the mayor had, and I was asked to speak about the arts. And that was important. And as I said, giving back all these, I have a problem with over volunteering, as you can see, just a little bit. And those in yellow are the only ones that are actually art related. So all the way from environmental to, well, say Starlight. I guess Starlight Theater in Balboa Park is also in the arts. But whatever profession you're in, whatever you're doing, just don't do it by yourself. You know, give back. Use some of your experience and energy to help the community. And I found that that's very giving. A couple closing quotes, which I think are important. I'm sorry, you gotta hear them. First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Mahatma Gandhi said that. That might be appropriate today. Anyway, Fear always springs from ignorance. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that. It's better to be hated for what you are than loved for what you are not. I love that quote. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's here. I have just one day, today, and I choose how I shall be, and I choose to be happy. And then finally, this was interesting by the Frank Baum gave the Scarecrow something he said in one of the Marvelous Land of Oz book. I am convinced that the only people worthy of consideration in this world are the unusual ones. For the common folk are like leaves of a tree and live and die unnoticed. And then my closing comment is people say, oh God, poor Vicki, poor Steve had to go through that. And it shouldn't be poor Steve, it should be lucky Vicki. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So you see, these council people who sit up here and we just look like talking heads as they